Hey guys. So, did everybody survive? Pre-eclipse, eclipse, post-eclipse. I think I went through at least like the drama of it and then processing it. I feel like I'm still. And the reason that we're still taking such a long time to process everything that's happening, it's because it's such a large amount of density coming up to be transmuted all at one time. So every single day you're getting more epiphanies. Every single day you're getting more realizations and information, and you have to sit with it and process it. So if your way of dealing with things is running away from it, it's going to be very difficult because you're receiving so many physical upgrades and upgrades in terms of the expansions of your consciousness that you have to sit with it to process it. You have to have that alone time. You have to, even if it's going to the gym, when you're listening to your music, those thoughts are going through your mind. That processing, that information could be coming in. Little things could trigger it. But don't run away from it, and don't distract yourself, because then it's just going to be like information overload, epiphany overload, you drowning in your own density because you're unable to process it as quickly as it's coming in. And that's what you see with people who are kind of drowning in these energies. You can either use that contrast and see the gift and figure out how to alchemize that for yourself, because it's going to be different for everybody, or you can drown in it trying to run from yourself, basically. Because what do we all need to do? We need to look inward. We need to go within. We need to sit with ourselves. We need to get, even if it's a walking meditation, we need to get quiet in order to be able to process everything that's happening to us right now. And a lot of times when those physical symptoms come in, it forces you into that space. It forces you to kind of sit with everything. It kind of forces you to process everything that's going on in your life and really take accountability. Because once we start getting into the blame game, that's when we get stuck. When we want to blame somebody for the way we feel, we want to blame something on the external for the way that we feel, what's going on in the world, our job, our boss at work, or whatever it is, right? We all have issues, and we can blame those issues for the way that we feel, or we can use all of that energy from the emotions of what's coming up and use it to our advantage, and use it in a way that we alchemize the energy and see the gift. We see that, okay, I understand why this is happening, in order for me to recognize this about myself. And that's all we're all doing with each other and the universe, whether it looks like contrast or it looks like something positive. It's all this co-creation in order for us to become into this greater, different perspectives in order to expand as individuals. So every single day, we should have this new perspective, right? But when we're stuck, when we're sitting telling the stories about who did this to me or what's happening to me, I'm a victim, getting in this victim mode, that's what keeps you stuck. Opening up your perspective, seeing the situation from every single angle, that person's angle, the world's angle. Stop beating our heads up against each other and just like relax into that flow. Relax into the fact that you know everything's working out for you, and you know everything's working out in this world. You can look on the external and say, what? It looks like everything's crashing down. You can look on and see that also in your personal life. But really, there is the gift. There is the fact that everything's coming crashing down because it wasn't of the highest good of all. It wasn't of the highest good of you. And so if you want to rebuild, you better crush that old quote unquote foundation, which really was just a foundation of inverted shit in our world and in our lives. And another thing that Spirit had been bringing through is relationships are going to look different. So of course, when I'm going through all this stuff, and I mentioned in my previous video that I'm moving, like I'm separating myself from my relationship, immediately like people want to be like, what? that's supposed to be your twin flame and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, once you start realizing that every single relationship is pointing you back to yourself, it's pointing you to look at things about yourself. Everything is pointing you back to you. So if you're in a space where you're being consumed by the other person, or consumed by your job, or distracted from what you actually should be doing, or is resonating with your soul, or is in that aligned divine mission, when you're distracted from that, that person or that thing or whatever it is going to show you. Anything coming up right now is showing you something about you. This has nothing to do with anyone else. Even if you feel like something is happening to you, it is happening for you. I promise you that. And it's about getting out of that gunk that we're stuck in, that quicksand that's trying to pull us down into victim mode, and bring ourselves up into this empowering space so we can be the examples in the light of how you go within and you start co-creating with the universe, which is just a flow. Just an example for me, like, okay, I thought I manifested everything I wanted, my dream person, my house, my property, and all that stuff, right? But it's like that, my attachment to that was the very reason why I had to let it go. Because in 5D, you're attached to nothing. It doesn't matter. You're in flow. Whatever happens in the moment, you go with it, because you know Spirit's got you, and you know it's for a divine, beautiful purpose, right? Do you lose that relationship forever? No, but relationships are probably going to look a little different. Maybe it's not going to be that traditional way. Maybe it's that community, you know? And what does that even look like? Different for everyone. I just manifested and co-created a beautiful rental property in a rural area of Pennsylvania, where I'm from, that is surrounded by Amish community, which is already off-grid. And the people there, the local people, already co-create with the Amish every day. My mom was actually babysat by Amish people when she was a kid. Like, that's not unheard of, you know, to have these communities where they're very self-sustainable. And I'm not surprised that I was called to that area. And it felt so, everything happened so easily. When everything came crashing down, you couldn't have told me that it felt easy. But in hindsight, now that I'm kind of past all of the turbulence, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many gifts I see and why this had to happen. Like, it's so obvious to me now. But in the moment, it wasn't. It felt like I was just losing everything that I thought I wanted, right? And what I've said this in the past so many times, but what you think you want is never what is going to happen, for one. And it's always better. Like, it can always be better. And we don't know that until we're present and we just allow it to happen, because we surrender. We have that insane amount of faith that we know that everything's going to work out for us. And the more that we attach and stay attached to things that are happening right now, the less we're able to like make ourselves available and create that space for better things to come. And it's not about looking forward to better things. No, it's just about recognizing that presence and that letting go of the fear of the unknown and just allowing life to unfold for you, no matter what it looks like, no matter who you're in a relationship with. And I'll be honest with you, like, people want me to talk about the twin flame thing because I've just created separation. You know what? There's so many pros and cons, and this is the whole, what's that word? The paradox of it all. So if you want my honest opinion, I feel like the label of twin flame held me back in some ways, because it kept me attached to this person who I still unconditionally love, and they unconditionally love me, you know? I learned a lot about what unconditional love is, but I also learned a lot about setting boundaries and what you allow, you know, somebody working through their darkness, what you tolerate. You show them what you're going to tolerate, right? And for me, it was like what he was going through, I can't tolerate. I just can't tolerate living with him while he's working through his shadow. And that's just a part of the journey. And it's not about being a twin flame. This is just all relationships. You have to set boundaries with people. You have to say, this is what I'll tolerate and allow in my space, and this is what I will not. And then you set those boundaries. And if that person loves you, they will respect those boundaries, right? And that's what a lot of us empaths are learning. A lot of us light workers are learning, like where to place people in our lives and how to place our self-love, our self-care, put ourselves in the most, sacred environment, like your home, like that protection and that keeping what is sacred safe. You know what? I actually wrote it down because I heard somebody say this and it resonated so deeply with me. It was self-love is protecting what is sacred. And I use your home as an example. For me, I will not let just anybody walk into my home. Okay? That is a sacred space for me and my children and my animals, right? And that, in the past, it's like, who cares? I've never even thought twice about it. But your home is your sacred space and you don't know what people are carrying on them, right? And that's just with anything, your body. You don't just share your body with anybody. This isn't just a go around and I'm always protected, right? No, when you know better, you do better. When you expand your consciousness, you're more conscious of positive entities, negative entities, positive energies, negative energies, however you want to say it, you're more conscious of those. And therefore, you operate in a different way to protect your own energy. I can't even express to you how crucial that is. That self-respect, it is protecting what is sacred. And you are sacred. Our children, all the children are sacred. That is why that is one of the main focuses right now in the world. Protecting what is sacred. And if we're going to, as a collective, come into that space of self-love, we have to take a stand as individuals too. We have to say, I'm not going to consent to things that aren't of the highest good or aren't going to serve the all in the highest good. And then we have to create those boundaries en masse and create those boundaries in our individual lives. And I think don't be closed off to relationships looking a little different. That doesn't mean you can't exchange energy with somebody that you love, but you do have to set those boundaries. You can't let somebody infringe upon your free will and tell you how they think that you should be or live or what you should do with your life either. And that's why even when when I'm through this transition, like I listen and I'm open to what people have to say, but at the end of the day, you go in here and you follow what's in here. Because sometimes, like, you can say, oh, you always only go inside, never seek advice from somebody else. But when you're going through something really tough, that's not healthy to just sit in isolation and not have anybody to even like express to. And my whole life, I struggled with that. I would just deal with everything myself. And recently that was something that I've learned is to come out of my shell. I call one of my old girlfriends or whatever, and somebody who I know could at least keep up with me in the conversation, have something valuable to exchange in the conversation, right? It's hard. It's hard when you're awake and so many people are asleep to the information about this world that actually freaking matters and why we're here. And you're going through this ascension process and you're purging and you're going through all these periods and everybody just thinks you're crazy and your life is just blowing up left and right. But they also see that light that you shine. They also see that expansion. So it is a tricky process, but don't be afraid to, open up to people and put yourself out there a little bit. Because if you isolate too much, that's how you can be controlled more easily. If you do get into a relationship and then you only spend all your time with one person, you only have all your conversations with one person, you start to get these blinders on and you're not interacting with the world around you, and it can get you stuck in a corner, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I have been jotting things down for weeks, but I just haven't had it in me to come on here and talk about it because of all the processing and the ups and the downs. And I'm sure you guys are feeling it. It's no, like there's nothing to describe what's happening right now. Probably the most monumental changes that I've ever seen, ever, in this incarnation that I can remember. And, everybody, I don't know one person who's not going through the ringer right now. So we really need to energetically hold hands and just create that space for each other to heal and take accountability and have those epiphanies and process that information and do what is best for the highest good of you. And that really is that self-love and protecting what is sacred. And if you're going to protect yourself, it really does include setting really heavy boundaries, but also keeping your heart open. Like when we set a boundary, it's not like, oh, fuck you, and this is the boundary. It can be that way if somebody's being overly aggressive towards you. But most of the time, it's like trying to come from this heart space of understanding their situation and their struggle and they're going through this thing, but also not wanting to control or try to help them. And you can plant a quick seed and be calm and set your boundary without blaming, and then just let it be. Let it be, because let people learn. It's not our job to teach anyone a lesson. It's not our job to try to change somebody. The universe has that all under control. Because if you start infringing and trying to control, you're adding karma to yourself. You're not learning that lesson. You're not letting go. You're not just allowing things to be what they are and coming to this level of acceptance. So you're able to open up and create that space to move forward. If you're feeling stuck, it's probably because you just haven't let go of whatever that thing is for you. And once you do start letting go of the reins and just coming to this place of acceptance, not taking any of it personally that somebody else is doing or anything that's happening to you in life, don't take it personally. Take it and then say, what can I control in this situation? Me. So what is it about me? Like, start digging and asking yourself these questions. That's that processing. But some of it will come in just straight downloads and information. It's like, whoa, all of a sudden you just realize something about something happening to you in your life, or something about the way life operates, the way you operate, or how somebody's treating you, or how like something's not working out for you, like a job or whatever. And so it's all those epiphanies, and what the heck are you going to do with them? Are you going to integrate it? Or are you going to take that information and be like, I'm not ready yet. I'm going to go hold on still and make the same choice that I usually make that didn't work, and it hasn't been working. And it's really not working now because it's in your face, right? Okay. And so I put the twin flame relationship and all relationship journeys are not about the other person. It's always been about you. They lead you right back to yourself until you are the realest, most authentic version of yourself. What else did I put? You move with the moment. You're malleable, flexible, flowing. No holding on to things for a sense of self-worth. You have a knowingness of that your worth is complete free fall and faith into this co-creation with the universe. Your intention is powerful. Your intention is everything. And I feel like that's what presence is. It's coming in and just with complete pure intention. Just like, no, I'm focused on what is right now, and I'm seeing how I can appreciate it and be in whole gratitude for what I have and what this is in this moment. And how can I milk it into this beautiful co-creation with the universe? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be sitting with your children. It could be creating some beautiful piece of art. It could be on a walk in nature. It's easy to milk the moment once you start practicing with it. For me, if I'm with my kids, I get real present. Maybe we'll play a game and they'll start asking me questions, and we'll start digging into things that we never would have talked about if I wasn't present, if I was sitting on my phone, or if I was like, oh, I don't feel like playing a game right now, guys. And, it's okay not to feel like it sometimes, but when you are, whatever you do, be present with it. And you'll see everyone around you impacted by that. Like even at work, like if you're at this job and it's like, you don't love it, but you know how you can milk it and make the best of it. You know how you can create a beautiful conversation with somebody and bounce back and forth with each other to make the time go by a little faster. Like there's so many ways that we can milk the moment. If we're walking in nature, like for me, I like looking for just little interesting things, like colorful little mushrooms growing on a log, and just like little silly little things. Or maybe I'll like gather a color of leaf and I'll make like a mandala design for somebody else to discover on the path, or stack, you know, people stack rocks and bounce them all cool in the creeks and stuff like, and I show my kids that, and that is such presence. And it's really interacting in hands in the clay and like grounding too. And a lot of people, like, they're so, I got to go to the movies, I got to go shopping, I got to go this, I got to reach externally to feel good, when really we don't need anything but us to feel good. And all those things are so inverted, they don't fulfill you anyways. You only feel like they do because our culture has taught us that they do, and you haven't really had that deep taste yet of what it feels like to be present and appreciate just nature, just what is. Just what was already here before man came in and made all this artificial. Just what is, right? And you start to feel like, once you learn how to be present and milk the moment, you start to feel like you are all that is. You start to feel connected to all that is, because you're so present with it and you're so connected with it. And it brings you into that space of oneness. And I know... coming from all the turmoil of the last few weeks and coming into that presence is a freaking process. It's integration, right? It's recognizing the part you play in your own suffering. So it's not, you know, it's more easily said than done, but in the same breath, when I'm present and I'm just like at such peace and my body's calm and I'm not anxious about anything going on or any drama, it really doesn't seem that difficult, does it? But that's how much chaos is going on inside of our energetic fields that we need to clear out. And we need to allow that to clear out physically, mentally, emotionally. And with the physical, it seems kind of obvious how to take care of your physical. But when it comes to mental and emotional, it really does come down to like figuring out your traumas, how you're projecting them, how they're playing out in your life, and addressing them. So, because until you do, it's going to be a drama in your life. It's going to be this thing you're talking about, this story you're telling everybody about what happened to you. And that's straight victim mode. And it is impossible to be present when you're telling stories and in drama all the time, you know? And that's so normalized in our culture. Let's go get drinks and gossip, right? Like, that's so normal. Like, but it's not. That's very inverted. And it's okay to go, you know, have fellowship with somebody and have beautiful conversation. But are we talking about ideas? Or are we talking about people? You know, are we talking about how we're going to build up this beautiful new earth? Or are we talking about like celebrity gossip or things that just don't matter? Where's our focus? Because what you focus on is what is going to persist in your reality, in our reality as a collective. So if we're solution oriented and present, so we can co-create with the universe, we're going to be able to manifest and create that beautiful reality for ourselves. And you don't have to worry about, oh, is everybody going to be on board? If you know, and that's just more of that like us against them crap. All you have to do is go do it and shine your light. You don't even have to talk about what you don't like, because then you're just focusing on it. Just talk about what you want and be about what you want, and then walk that walk. And it will gradually and effortlessly manifest and unfold for you. But that faith and that knowingness has to be there. That disconnection and letting go from the drama and the stories you're telling about why you're some type of victim in life because something's happening to you. It has to go, because it's a gift. I promise you, it is a gift in order for you to see and realize something about yourself, so you can come into a different perspective and expand your consciousness. And it is levels and layers to it. There's always more levels of expansion. There's always more layers to uncover. There's always more expansion of your heart. There's always more love. So whatever you think that you desire right now, it's going to change in the next moment, because it's expanding just like you are. So when you try to predict the future or think you know what you want in life, you don't. You'll know in the moment when it's expanding and happening for you, because you're connected and aligned with source. And you'll also know when you're dragging yourself down into lower frequencies because you keep telling a story about how you're a victim to something in your life, when really it's a gift. It's here to show you how to perceive yourself in a different way in order to expand. And when you expand, you will expand into happier versions of yourself. You will expand into more beautiful versions of yourself. And you will floor yourself with who you are becoming. And you'll start to fall in love with yourself. You'll start to inadvertently go inward because you have no other choice. Because that is just where you're headed. And you can't unknow what you know now. You know it. You've expanded into it. You can't go. There is no turning back. It takes a lot to go back. It takes like literal intention to go back and do bad after you know better. Right? That's like a soul that has evil intentions, right? But most people, you know, I think they want to be good. I think most people deep down, they want to be good. They just feel stuck. And it's easy to go into victim mode and tell a story. So people can validate your stuckness. It's like people who want to drink, right? They'll go with other people who also like to drink so they can validate that drinking is not a big deal, right? And that's with anything. You'll go to where you feel like somebody is validating your bullshit so you don't have to take accountability for it. And if somebody's trying to help you see it, your defenses go up because you're not ready to change. But you know what's a sign of an emotionally mature person is when somebody and a friend gently comes and says, hey, I noticed this, right? And they're able to receive it and be like, dang, like, thank you. Like, I really wasn't seeing that about myself, but now I can kind of check myself. Or you can express however you want to express about it in a calm, mature way. Those are the type of people you want in your corner, because you don't want somebody that's going to enable your bullshit. You want somebody who's like, look, I'm just observing this, but you know, and you have to learn how to deliver things to friends and stuff in a conversation. But we need those people in our corner. We all need people like that in our corner, because sometimes we get attached to people who enable our bullshit, or we're enabling their bullshit, right? So accountability is everything. It really is. Accountability and that self-love, protecting your sacred space, self-respect. People who just give themselves away energetically, don't ever protect themselves. It's disrespectful to themselves. All they're doing is sucking themselves into lower frequencies in the guise of love for all or whatever it is, if you're giving your body away. There's nothing divine about an orgy. Sorry, guys. That's just my that's what I resonate with. If you resonate with it, don't resonate with that, it's fine. But I respect all perspectives, because everybody's where they need to be. And in order for the universe to infinitely expand, all perspectives will be portrayed, right? And they all help us learn, whether it's happening to you, them, anybody. If something comes into your experience, ask yourself why. And then, go into that processing. I think that's where we're all at right now. I was hesitant to make this video because of the amount of process I'm going through. I'm like, dang, like, I just want to be done processing it so I can like be really clear and just like deliver the most cohesive type of message possible about, you know, the energy of what's going on right now. But there is going to be no calm for me to just like sit and be done processing. This is going to be pretty intense, I think, for the next couple years. But right now, holy moly, like the straw that broke the camel's back was this past eclipse in the beginning of May. You can't tell me any different. Like, it's wild. Let's see if I had anything else I wanted to share. Every time you shift, you look at the world differently. More epiphanies and information every single day. And that was the thing about if you feel like nothing's moving yet, Spirit's going to tell you when, and you'll just know. You don't have to force anything. Like, so for me, when I was looking for a place, I was just going on every day, a few times a day, checking to see what rentals were available in the area that I was interested in. And it took about 2.5, 3 weeks. I had reached out about some, and it was just like a lot of people looking to rent and not a lot of rentals available. So I wasn't getting worried like I normally do. I was kind of just like, you know what, Spirit, you got this. And I'm still at Lance's house. It's not like I'm like thrown out or anything. Everything's fine and cordial. It was like, you know, everybody's come to a level of acceptance about everything, but I still am in that peace. I was in that peace. Like, okay, when it happens, it happens. And I talked to a couple people, and like I said before, I got a weird vibe. I don't want to rent from somebody who's giving me a weird vibe. That's going to be years of a connection, right? Even if I'm just renting from somebody, that's like a tie that you have to deal with somebody. So I was really waiting for everything to align. I needed the amount of bedrooms I needed, amount of bathrooms I needed a garage, a fenced in yard for my dog, like the whole bit. And guess what? It came at the, like a great deal, like everything lined up. I was so excited, signed the lease, like move in June 1st, like, you know, and I had to go through that waiting period. And until Spirit said, okay, it's time, you know, it's time for this step. It's time for this step. Now I'm packing all my stuff. It's, you know, it's been crazy. But how can I just like keep my focus on where it needs to be, which is me, right? It doesn't matter what's going on outside, anything else. Just focus on you, that self-care, that protection, and everything's going to work out for you. And you come into that knowingness. Spirit has you. Spirit absolutely has you. Like I could, there's so many incidences where I've had that validated, you know, when I was in college, like over a decade ago, and I was going through my whole atheist phase. People would say to me, because I came from a really religious background, they would say, because they would be like, I would like, show me the proof that God is real, right? And they'd be like, you have to personally experience it. And like, I would always like, okay, whatever, you know? But then I started personally experiencing it, and I had this whole spiritual awakening in this ascension journey. And it's just like, now I get what they meant. Even though they were in the religious realm of it, they still had these spiritual experiences. And that's just it. Like when I started having that validation, those experiences, my faith built, and it's continuing to build. And you know where my faith is also building? Inside of me. And that's the same. It's the same as the faith in the universe, because you are a piece of that. So when you start to believe that you can do these things, or you can make these moves that you wouldn't normally make in life, or you can do this thing that you normally wouldn't do, like that's that faith, that's that knowingness, that's that belief in yourself that you can get there through that co-creation with the universe. And the universe does have your back. Look at all those synchronicities. Look at all those things that have to happen for you. Look at all those things that you do have to be grateful for. And doing that trust fall. And at this point, I think most people that watch my channel on this journey, this isn't their first rodeo. This isn't the first dark night of the soul. You know, like you can do this, and it's gonna be so beautiful on the other side of it. I can already feel it coming in. It's gonna be a beautiful summer for those who can let go and choose a different timeline. Really hop on the 5D. That is absence of all attachment. And just allowing, you know, everything to be, and to just express love in any given moment, in every given moment, and gratitude, and in pure intention, and appreciation, and walk in integrity. It's like those qualities, like that is what expands you, you know, not taking anything personally. Everybody's going through their shit. Can you hold the light? Somebody's sitting there projecting onto you, and you're just calm as can be. Guess what? They're not gonna be able to sustain that in your presence, because you're bringing that calm, right? And then you're going to respect yourself enough and protect yourself enough to be like, okay, like I brought my calm, and now I'm going to create a boundary, and I'm going to go be in my own space, and all is well. And I'm going to send good love and prayer to that person. Good energy, whatever, however you roll. Everybody rolls differently. Let's not put ourselves in boxes either. Anytime you're like, they believe this and I'm right and they're wrong, blah, 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 that's all division. Acceptance of where everyone is, of what everything is. Just accept it. And then you play your role. Don't worry about trying to save the whole world. You can't go save all the kids that are trafficked right now. How would you even go about doing that? It's like we have to know our role. Some people, that is their role, right? So anyways, Your girl just go on tangents. I think I shared everything I wanted to share, and I hope that, you know, it really brought some support or inspiration or love or whatever it is you need right now. I'm hoping this helped in some way. And I really, truly love you guys, and I appreciate all of you for sticking with me for so long. And I'm going to be by myself now, and that should be pretty interesting in terms of like whatever angles and turns Spirit takes me on with my YouTube channel / channels that I want to expand, because I feel like I'm truly here to do that. So, all right, guys, I love you and have an amazing rest of your day.